something to accomplish that you personally know what's going on in your life, and you have to recognize the victories and not just think about the negative all the time, because if not, I swear none of us would transition if we only thought about the negative shit.
But no, I mean, wow, I listened last time.
That's who I was when I was 10 years old. I was that female. And these are the pictures, and this is the memory that I have from that picture. This is my dad could probably remember whooping my ass before this picture was taken. You know what I mean? Because I cried and cried and cried because my mom wanted to do my hair. You know what I mean? And I can look at that picture and go, I can see the tears in my eyes.
The instant moment that I told my mom I was trans, every picture of me with long blonde curly hair came out of the woodworks. Like pictures I had not seen for years.
You're reminiscing.
Show up.
Yeah.
And for me, for my mom particularly, it was a grieving. It was like she had to lose a daughter first. Because that was all she wanted was a daughter.
I think I grieved the same way you grieve when you lose a child. Because I had to deal with the fact of Amanda Kay Lane no longer exists. And me being her mother, it's like she died. You know, I now have Anthony, which is the same person, but it's a whole different personality. He sent me a letter. He said he didn't want to bring it straight to my face. He was afraid to, that I would turn my back on him. Anthony, as Amanda, was not who he was. I think it's who I wanted him to be, but that wasn't who he was. Because since he's doing what he's doing now, I see the happiness back in him. I worry that he's going to be somewhere and somebody's going to start picking on him and they're going to attack him, and because of who he is. And I'm going to get a knock on the door that he's been murdered.
February 12th, this police video shows Dewana Johnson in the booking area at 201 Poplar after an arrest for prostitution. You can clearly see the Memphis police officer walk over and hit her in the face several times. So why did it happen?
Actually, he was trying to get me to come over to where he was, and I responded by telling him that that wasn't my name. My mother didn't name me a faggot or a he, she. So he got upset and approached me. And that's when it started.
According to Dewana, the officer was trying to get Dewana, a transsexual, to get fingerprinted, but she says she didn't respond to the derogatory name he called her. The officer hits her several times with the handcuffs wrapped around his knuckles. In the video, you can see the flash of metal. Another officer holds her shoulders. She tries to protect herself. After taking several blows, Dewana stands up and swings back.
We wanted some acknowledgement. And my client did, just so she would know that the Memphis Police Department didn't condone this. We were optimistic that they would be as outraged about this as we are, and we haven't gotten any indication that they're interested in it at all.
The only law that's ever passed in Tennessee that covers sexual orientation is the hate crimes law. And that it's actually a sentencing enhancement law. And so courts can take that into account when they're establishing sentencing for physical attacks, violence against an individual. But that's the only state law that's ever passed in Tennessee. There is a bill to add gender identity or expression, but it hasn't passed so far, and chances of it passing in the next 2 years admittedly are kind of remote.
There's very evil people out there, and so I worry about that.
First thing you think of is, okay, there's burly jockey guys that if they find out what I really am, there's a possibility they could beat the living daylights out of me. Man, that's a big fear.
Bathroom dysphoria is like a big deal for a lot of trans people, for me especially, and it sucks because I pee a lot. And so it's like I always have to pee, so it's like I have to find the bathroom that I feel safe with.
Using a guy's restroom, it's very satisfactory. You know, being able to go in and do that, you feel good about it, you feel confident. You know, confidence is the main key here. And at first it was scary, because the first thing you think of is, okay, what I have is not yet real. So here I'm going to walk into a bathroom with these guys that are going to have a problem with me, if they know.
With most buildings on campus, I know which ones are safe to use and which ones aren't used that often. I just pay attention to stuff like that. Just bathrooms for me are really awkward. I just get really dysphoric about them because it's like I'm not really sure which one I should be using.
I would probably say like the worst thing ever about being trans and like looking in the mirror is doing it naked. And you get out of the shower and then you just automatically see yourself in the mirror, and that can be really hard because maybe you see yourself in your face or your arms, but you got, 10-pound boobs hanging out, and that's just not who you are, and that can disgust you every time that you look in the mirror.
They actually have a word for it. It's called dysphoria. To where, I'll get out of the shower, and normally a person, gets out of the shower, they'll look at the mirror, they'll, dry themselves off and things like that. Well, when I look in the mirror, from the neck up, I feel I look good. I look who I should be. But from the neck down, I don't know what I'm looking at. I feel awkward. I don't feel like that's me. I feel like somebody's playing a joke on me, and the best way I can put it, and a lot of people understand it when I put it this way, is that when I look at from my neck down, I feel like a pervert. I feel like I'm looking at a strange, a stranger completely naked. I recently found a foundation that will actually, they choose, I don't know whether it's one or a couple people a year to receive a grant to pay for their top surgery in full. It's called the Jim Collins Foundation. I don't think it's probably one of the biggest tools we have as being transgendered is to be able to bind. Because of course, that's one big aspect between male and female.
I mean, binding, first of all, to define it, is doing some type of tight clothing on the upper body to suppress the breast so that they are less noticeable to others. And whenever people are doing that, if they do that too tightly, it can potentially cause some pressure on the lungs, which in theory, I guess, could increase your chances of fluid collection, pneumonia, that sort of thing. I've never actually seen anybody with a complication, and I've never seen anyone who is doing it to extreme.
But see, now currently I wear my binder with work and everything. I wear my binder about 20 to 22 hours a day. Elizabeth stayed in the bathroom. She goes, oh. Finished my essay for Jim Collins, trying to get funding for my top surgery. I didn't make it this year, so come March or May, when they start taking applications again, I'm going ahead and submit it. When I got told that I couldn't even apply for it this year, of course I was really bummed. I was really upset about that. I was really hoping that I'd get chosen. I know it's a slim chance, but I still had high hopes for it. I still got high hopes for next year. It's just not going to happen as quickly as I want it to.
Surgery-wise, I'm going to look into getting top surgery whenever I get on T. After I get on T, get that out of the way. I've been binding for 4 years, and it's getting to that point where I need to do something about it. I don't want bottom surgery currently. I personally don't think that the technology is there for it, and if I did want a dick, I would want one that works correctly and can make babies and all that shit. But they don't have that available yet, so we're just gonna have to wait. But no, I don't think that defines me as a man, and I think that I'm doing just fine without one right now.
I have a phalloplasty consult in November. The phalloplasty is a version of a bottom surgery. It in my opinion, is the more skilled version. particular type that we're going to do is going to be a groin flap phalloplasty, and we're hoping to have that done here in Nashville. It can take up to 4 years. There's 4 phases, and there needs to be anywhere from 3 to 6 months between each phase to heal, and it can take upwards to $100,000. So it's definitely something that we want to get prepared for as soon as we can, and because it may take a long time to get everything together. Now, before the surgery, we did a lot of different diets. I mean, I lost probably 20 to 30 pounds before the surgery, and now I'm under 160. I have to lose all of my belly fat in order to have the bottom surgery, because he cuts out of the hip line to make the phallus.